How's it going, everyone? I'm Snoo603, your host. Welcome to the Dawnbreaker podcast, episode 29. Joining me this week, as usual, is Epona. Hello. Say hello. And Scanner Barkley, the usual host. Don't have any guests this week. We did not line anyone up intentionally because this week was to be post-topic night, but as well as E3 roundup, be a little bit of everything. Pre-podcast announcements. First off, something that I really haven't touched upon lately that I would really like to bring to everyone's attention as a general reminder. The Dawnbreaker forums are there to be used for everyone, for everything. If there's a sub-forum that does not fit your needs, let us know. We could probably make it. But I mean, otherwise, like, the forums are there. They're free to use. It's easy to sign up. There's a lot of cool things thanks to the Patreon page getting us Zenforo, which is fucking awesome. A lot of cool things you can do with inside the forums. If you guys aren't using them, I implore that you do. It's like, you can talk about anything and not have to worry about any trolls or dickheads, because that's one of the, I think it's rule number one. Be nice, no dickheads. It's just completely, any negative, unwarranted negative behavior is not tolerated, period. It's a safe place to come hang out. So go ahead, post on it, use it up. Jess, I'm assuming you had a, yep, there it is. DawnbreakerGaming.com/forum. Link is right there. Oh, Jess, they ask you to mute your keyboard, please.
That's not mine, bitch. I replaced my keyboard.
Skin?
Look, my keyboard is loud. I type on the podcast. If you don't want to hear my keyboard on the podcast, don't fucking watch it.
Can I just say that I graciously downgraded to my old keyboard because of the complaints. And here Scanner is being an arrogant douchebag about it. So I just wanted to point that out.
It's the same shit every fucking week. I can hear your keyboard, yep, and you'll hear it next week. This is me giving zero fucks about you, viewer.
And there goes our viewers. Anyway.
It's louder than usual, though.
It does seem loud. The other pre-stream announcement, Patreon page. Still doing well. We're at 29 patrons at $3.78 a month, which is pretty fucking awesome. So we're still holding on to the game server
perfect amount
goal.
For...
It is.
We're hoping to do. We are hoping to do a Witcher 3 giveaway in the next couple weeks.
Nice.
Yeah.
On any platform. So keep an ear out on Twitter.
It's the last good game.
So I think we're probably actually going to want to go back through and readdress this, because the forum upgrade was a one-time purchase. And now that's gone, it doesn't make any sense, and I think about it, to keep that $600 per month. So we should probably go back through and reassess this and address it. But at any rate, for those that have...
Do you want to know what doesn't make any fucking sense?
Me?
The Battlefield 3 server. That shit makes no fucking sense.
Why is that?
I love that server.
I do too.
It's a... How often does it get used?
Whenever we play
I actually
on
think Billy's in there using it quite a bit.
I'm glad.
I think more people here use the BF3 server than they would a BF4 server, and the Hardline server was always empty. Cause, well, I mean, nobody fucking plays Hardline anyway.
Well, that's
anyway.
that's the catch-22 of having a server, is that if you don't prime it, then it's going to be empty. It's just the nature of having a server, and it's nice to have one for when we play games together, and we want to have that control over it.
Right. Okay, so for those that are interested, for all the servers we have right there, drop the link for you in the chat. That gives you an idea of all the servers that we have for Dawnbreaker, as well as Battlefield Podcast. Chalk1, who is the head of Battlefield Podcast, he's been kind enough to share his servers with our community as well, because that's how good people do good things. We all share these things. It works out for the benefit of everybody. So we've got Ark, we've got Minecraft, Battlefield 3, Reign of Kings. We have two Minecraft, modded and a vanilla.
Yep.
I think that's it. But anyway, so we're going to have to readdress the Patreon, because I think we can do more for the community. And if we readjust those goals to assess such, I think it'd be more successful. But other than that, if you guys haven't checked it out, please do so. We greatly appreciate it. And anything you can do to help pledge and support the website is awesome. More important than any of that is, please spread the word. If you know of anyone that is interested in writing anything, or even making videos, because it doesn't have to be a written article, it could just be a video too. We're always accepting submissions. So please, if you're interested, or if you can just help spread the word of mouth is an important and very, very impactful tool. Please utilize it. We would greatly appreciate it.
I would like to mention, while we're discussing the site and upgrades and stuff, we are still working on version 2. I know we meaning me, and Darren provoked me, hyped it up like months ago, and it's not like we forgot about it. It's just we've had some people, dealing with family and personal stuff, having a rough time, and myself, I'm getting into house buying mode, so I haven't had a lot of time, but it's still there. We're still going. And it's definitely a thing.
It's gonna look very nice when it's
yeah,
done.
it's sexy as fuck, and I am so fucking excited. But I wanted to just quickly mention that it is still in the works, and it's kind of, I guess, apologize that we hyped it and then didn't deliver immediately on it. So that will also be on the horizon. Just be excited.
Cool. All right. Now we have topics to discuss. Epona has a shit ton of stuff to discuss for the E3 wrap-up portion of it, and most specifically regarding the PC aspect of it. The PC show. What night was the PC thing? It was Tuesday night.
I didn't watch
was
that.
Huh?
That's Scanner.
Oh, god damn it. Okay, I'm sorry. Anyway.
Yeah, I think it was Tuesday night. I
think
can't
it was.
remember. I erased it from my memory.
It was either Tuesday or Wednesday, because I know Monday night was the Sony panel. But, we'll jump off with Jess. So, Jess, you had a few things you wanted to talk about. For Honor is top of the list right now.
Well, I kind of just took the E3 conferences and went down in line from the games that were mentioned and kind of my mini thoughts on them. For Honor, I saw a lot of people being hyped about that on Twitter, and I kept trying to, like, hint to them that there's already a game out that is a lot like that. Because, I mean, it did look great. It's probably not going to hold my attention because I'm not a huge... it doesn't really look like my kind of game, but it's a lot like Chivalry, and if you guys have played our community nights, you know that we like to play that one a lot, and it is a lot of fun, I will say. It looks... Chivalry is kind of the indie, chaotic version of For Honor. It's kind of For Honor was like a medieval fighter game where there were 3 factions. I think it was like Samurai, Viking, and the medieval knights in Europe or some shit. But it looks like Chivalry, a lot like Chivalry, and so if you are hyped up about For Honor, you should probably check out Chivalry to see if you would really be interested in that kind of game.
I tried tweeting it out several times during the Steam summer sale because
Yeah,
it
it
was on
was
sale
like
for
$2.
$2.49.
Yeah.
That's an absurd deal. Even if you only play it for like 3 hours, it's worth $2.50.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good game. It's decent.
It's a good gamble to take.
But I think the big one for Ubisoft was the Division, which they say is coming out in March. We'll see if that's really going to happen. And I feel like my excitement for that game is slowly dwindling, though. I like want to be hyped for it, but I don't really know why, because I don't really know what the purpose of the game is. Like, you know, we've seen gameplay, but we haven't really seen anything about the story or any reason why I'd be playing it. I mean, Destiny right now has the bare semblance of a story. I think the DLC lately added a little bit more to the story, but I mean, I enjoy Destiny for what it is, but right now it's kind of just a loot simulator. So if I want to play something like that, I'll just play Destiny. I don't have enough time to kind of sink into this game that's just about getting more and better gear, which I can appreciate because I like shiny new stuff, but I don't know. Those are...
I forget who said it, but they said that from what they gathered from the gameplay they saw of The Division, it was going to kind of look something like Destiny as far as how it played. Really kind of grindy, revolving around a lot of loot, but instead of you versus AI, it's all PvP.
Yeah, and that I don't know if that appeals to me. Like, Destiny has the cool sci-fi factor where I get to pretend to be a blue alien with, like, fusion rifles, but... Were you going to say something, Scanner?
Yeah, what game are you talking about?
The Division.
Oh. It's PvE and PvP.
I don't really see
aspect
the appeal.
Is
I'd rather stick with Destiny, especially because the Taken King looks actually pretty decent.
Well, in Destiny, correct me if I'm wrong, because I've never played it. It's strictly PVE, correct?
No. There is
No?
a PvP component, but it is completely separate. I mean, it's not really... It's not like you're in the open... Like, in Destiny, or in The Division, it seemed like it was kind of an open game world, and then you would go seamlessly transition from one part of the world to another where it was a PvP zone. In Destiny, it's... You literally, you know, travel to the area, you say, okay, I want to play PvP, and then you get... you know, matchmaking, and you go into an arena and you fight to the death, basically. It's not it's not really seamlessly integrated into the PvE like it looks like The Division is doing.
I used to say, yeah, from the impression I get from The Division is it's going to be a seamless integration where you're just rolling through and all of a sudden it's PvE, or oh fuck, there's a squad of other players, PvP, and that's just how it's going to go. But it seems to be all rank based, because that was one of the things that stood out from that, you know, multiplayer gameplay was how they were talking like, oh shit, you know, the rank 12s and rank 13s, and they were implying it was a big deal. So that, I think that's where the Destiny aspect of it comes in, or the comparison, for lack of a better term. So it'll be interesting to see how it all translates in the end. Myself personally, the hype train was fucking full speed ahead. 88 miles an hour from fucking day one when it was first announced at E3 2013. And then everything that came out with Ubisoft from that point completely derailed that hype train. That shit is miles behind me, still laying over its side in just a fucking crumpled heap.
Yeah.
So...
And they say there's no proximity voice communication, so that's also kind of a... And apparently, Luke Smith, one of the... I don't even know what his job is, but he was kind of being a little trolly. People were kind of going crazy about it on Twitter, or so I thought and saw on Twitter in passing. I don't really know anything about it. I think he said something like, oh, if you could... There's no proximity voice, but if you could see the animations, you'd be throwing money at your screen. Something like that.
Oh, okay, so he's one of those types. That's helpful.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, for a PvP style game like that, you know, where it's all squad based, not having proximity chat just doesn't make any fucking sense to me. I don't know. It remains to be seen, but it does seem on the surface very strange that they would go without such a thing.
That's half of the fun of DayZ for me, is creeping up on randos and whispering in their ear. So
yep.
I am sad that that's not a thing.
The main thing to remember about The Division is that it's Ubisoft.
Yeah.
And that's it. They're shit. Like, not even like subjectively, just objectively as a company, they are fucking trash.
Yep.
Their complete fucking inability to learn from their mistakes is stunning. Like, I would need to get a young child at a small age and, like, train them their whole life to not learn the way Ubisoft don't fucking learn. So what they're going to do is they're going to release a game that looks nothing like any of the footage that they've shown. And it's going to be trash. It's going to be trash. The PvE element is going to be shit.
A little bit. But I will just quickly say, to be fair, they did learn in Assassin's Creed when they had the 4 random dudes that looked exactly alike, but now they have the 2 protagonists, and one is a female because they got so much shit last time.
Yeah, but the 4 dudes didn't look alike at all because random parts of them weren't loading in, so they all looked dramatically different. Like, which one are you? I'm the legs. Which one are you? I'm the floating head with no face.
Oh,
great.
God.
But it's going to be trash. Anybody who's hyped about it, look, I'm fucking delighted for you. You found a game that excites you and whatever. But it's Ubisoft. It's fucking PvP. And it's Ubisoft. These things don't go well together. Ever. What surprised me at E3 was that Ubisoft announced Ghost Recon Wildlands. I was purely interested in The Division for PvE. I have no interest in playing a PvP mode that is in an Ubisoft game ever, because they're garbage.
Yeah.
And I was only interested in The Division for PvE, but then they announced Wildlands. And why would I even bother with The Division when I can just play Wildlands with people in the fucking TeamSpeak?
Yeah, that one did look pretty fantastic.
It looks cool. I love that. co-op tactical challenges. You get to decide how it is you're going to approach situations and stuff. They just cannibalize their own fucking audience because, like, I don't even understand why they do that. Like, they're really hoping that the Division is some kind of thing, like it works. And I'm thinking, if I'm Ubisoft, the last thing I'm ever hoping is that my games fucking work. You're talking about a company that couldn't get the fucking multiplayer aspect of Trials to work.
This is true.
For months.
I think it
Like,
took
I'm
shy
not
of one
fucking
full fucking
crazy.
year to get online multiplayer working for Trials.
Yikes.
Which a feature they had in their previous Trials version, like iteration. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, I just don't get it. Like, I don't understand what their focus is, especially over the last, let's call it 2 years, because they should be the kings of the universe by now.
Yeah,
But they're not, because they keep fucking just anally penetrating themselves with every game launch, and I can't figure out what the fuck their plan is.
they're just
Is it
going
to
for maximum
eventually
profits.
just figure out how much shit their customer base will take before walking away from them forever?
Absolutely. Isn't that the goal of every business, though? Is to establish yourselves, because everyone's in that. The whole fucking reason everyone gets into business is to make money. That is the singular fucking point of every business's existence. And then at some point, especially when you go public and you have shareholders to, be responsible for, or that you're, yeah, you know what I mean, that you have to answer to, you have to maximize those profits. You need to show a certain amount of growth, but it all comes down to the percentage of profits that you're making year over year. And that's where Ubisoft has kind of gotten to. It's like, okay, well, I mean, what's the easiest way to maximize profits? Trim costs. And I think that's what we're starting to see now. Instead of taking a gamble and investing a little more for hopefully a much higher return on their investment, they take the easy way out to make everyone happy across the board and, line their pockets a little bit deeper and thicker, more fuller, is to cut costs. And therefore, where do we see that? And at the end result, the customer's end, where we get the games, we're like, dude, what the fuck happened to the quality of this game? This is not what we were promised. This isn't as good as it used to be in the past. They're trying to maximize profits top to bottom. And eventually it is going to come to a point, just like, the gaming industry is no different. It's not unique in that aspect. There are plenty of other companies and industries that they do the same fucking thing. They get an established consumer base, and then, okay, let's try and maximize profits. Again, the easiest way to do that is to keep offering the same shit, or as near to the same quality shit as you've always had, but cut costs in everywhere that you possibly can.
The thing that's been on their side the whole time is largely that as a consumer of games, you've had zero consumer rights. Like, if you buy your game, like, there's no such thing as a refund. You buy your game on Steam and it's bad, then fuck you. But now that worm is starting to turn.
Yep.
Ever so slightly, so maybe they'll need to up their game a little bit.
No, because they want to just pull it from Steam and then just make it available on Uplay only.
Nobody will buy it on Uplay. Like, they can do that all they want, but nobody's gonna fucking go over there to buy their game.
Right.
People grudgingly have Uplay installed because you need to play the game. Nobody's gonna fucking buy it from them. And they're not so stupid as to pull it from Steam and it's like millions and millions and millions of sales and customer base and all the rest of it. They're just stupid.
They are.
It's that simple. You can't rationalize it. Like, Ubisoft's stupid. EA's stupid. Activision's stupid. They're all fucking stupid. But they're all making money because the people they're selling games to are fucking stupid for the most part as well. So it all balances out. Stupid product, stupid consumer. Hey!
Speaking of stupid, excellent segue. Rainbow Six, I have to say, when they showed it, I mean, I know that was all scripted and bullshit, but I thought that looked really good. And I thought it looked good, not like if you were playing with randoms, but maybe it looked like it had potential to be a good competitive game. But I know that Scanner played the alpha. Was it the alpha?
Yeah.
And you said it wasn't really that great. So I'd be interested in your thoughts on that.
It was potentially good, but there was so much kind of garbage in it that it reminded me way too much of why FPS games disappoint me now, because you don't even need to be really good to be good at the game. Like, you've got a heartbeat monitor so you can see where people are through walls, and if you don't happen to have your heartbeat monitor, you can just fucking shoot through a wall until you get a hit marker, and then you know they're there anyway, you know, all that kind of stuff. But they appear to have kind of cleaned it up a little bit, which is nice. I'll keep an eye on it, but like, I'm not hyped for the game. I was before I played the alpha, and then since I played the alpha, it just died.
Yeah, I thought the everything destructible made me nostalgic for Bad Company 2, when you could actually destroy things in Battlefield. Zing! But that's just me. I like to blow things up. I did not pick up Assassin's Creed Unity or Rogue, although I heard good things about Rogue.
I'm playing Rogue.
Yeah?
Over the last day or two, I'm playing Rogue.
Decent?
It actually doesn't suck.
That's good.
Remind me again what Rogue is.
From Scanner, that's not a bad sound.
No, it's
It's a pretty big endorsement. Rogue, last year, because Ubisoft got sick of releasing a singular Assassin's Creed title, they released two. One was for next gen and PC, and one was old gen and PC. And the one for next gen and PC sucked and was broken and boring, and the one for old gen and PC is actually quite a good game.
I am sad I didn't pick that up on the sale then.
So
But,
it's good.
Yeah.
Like, it's the same. Like, it's Assassin's Creed in every fucking way. Like, little tutorial messages pop up on the screen and stuff. I don't even read them. I don't need to. I played Watch Dogs, I think, last week. And once you've played one Ubisoft game, you've played the tutorial for all Ubisoft games. It's fucking fine. They all have the same mechanics, so it don't matter. But, like, I've probably spent at least half my playtime in the game sinking other ships, doing, like, naval battles and stuff. So, that's just good.
There's naval battles in the Rogue?
Oh, yeah. Fuck tons of them.
You know what? When that was in Assassin's Creed 3, the American Revolution one with Connor, I hated the ships. I avoided them like the plague. And then I played Black Flag, and I loved everything about that game. So, I don't know. I don't know if I like the naval battles. I'm very torn on how I feel about that. But I was not interested at all in Unity or Rogue. Although I am a little bit now that you said that it's halfway decent. But I am interested in Syndicate. And I think maybe because it's me and I'm obsessed with British things and English things. But also the twin protagonists, you can play as a lady as well. And the addition of vehicles. I don't know. I'm finding it interesting. They're adding new things.
Ubisoft trumped up the dough for those lady animations.
Yeah, man. They must have spent a lot of money for the boobs.
A lot of
The
cash
boob
to
physics.
figure out how a woman's arms move when she walks.
No, but I do think that's interesting. Victoria in London seems like a cool. I hope they keep going up in history. I would like to play, a futuristic Assassin's Creed. Although technically I know that was already sort of a thing when you do the flashbacks and then you'd be in present day. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, the
Desmond?
I want
present day
lasers.
stuff sucks though.
Yeah, true.
Like, it's always like this big fucking downer. Imagine how epic Assassin's Creed as a series would be if all that shit was removed. Like, there was no present day crap. None of this fucking, we're searching through memories for reasons that the writers forgot to put in the game, but we're searching through memories. And it was just, you were actually just playing Ezio. You were actually just playing Connor. You were actually just playing whatever. It'd be one of the most epic yarns ever told via the medium of fucking video games. But instead, it's just, they're okay, and then you've got these modern day walk around this office bullshit
I thought
portions.
the mechanics of that in the first one were really intriguing and interesting. And then they never really went anywhere interesting with that.
It's like Lost. Like the first season of Lost where something had happened and then that was it. It was like some huge mechanic would occur and then never be mentioned again because all the writers forgot about it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I was obsessed with Lost for a couple seasons, mostly because of Michelle Rodriguez.
Never watched it. There was nothing I found interesting about it. Prepare to be crucified.
No, there was nothing interesting about it.
You've seen Sherlock, and that's all that matters to me, man.
You know what?
It was fucking poo.
It's a little side
Excuse you?
note here. I'm working my way through Fringe. Seriously underrated.
Fringe is
show.
a good one, also.
Damn straight.
Scanner, I'm sorry. Could you repeat what you just said? I missed what you said.
Lost was poo.
Oh, she
okay.
thought you said you were saying that about Sherlock.
Woo! That was close.
She was about to get
Our
shut
friendship
down.
was
The
almost
funny
over.
thing is, if I sat here and said Sherlock was shit, she wouldn't even think about it. She'd just go off on me about how good of a TV show it is, right?
Would.
And she'd
I
forget.
mean, it's not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But...
She'd forget like these intensely long via text conversations that we've had about the nature of the relationship that Sherlock has with the world in which he finds himself. It would all just leave her brain. She'd forget.
Have we had
She'd
those
be like,
conversations?
Oh, yeah, Scanner not only has watched the show, but he's also completely fucking dissected it as only a fan would. But I'm going to forget that right now because
I
he insulted
completely forget about it because I do not remember having those conversations, and I would like to have them again because I need those memories back. Sorry.
Speaking of memories.
I've composed myself.
Speaking of memories, so who remembers the Last Guardian when it was first hyped?
Me!
The whole thing. Okay.
I know
this
you
is
don't.
interesting. No, I don't.
Go ahead.
So last Monday, we did the podcast, and I cut it short because the Sony panel was coming up, and everybody wants to watch that. I'm like, well, then fuck it. There's no point in us talking about E3 stuff while E3 is still going on. Let's cut it now. Everyone go watch the Sony thing and do their thing. So Jess was getting ready to cut it or call it a night, and I'm watching this. I'm like, the fuck is this game? There's like a big like eagle dog thing, and she's like, The Last Guardian. I'm like, what the fuck is The Last Guardian? So apparently this game was announced in 2007, and then just kind of fell off the path. Like it just disappeared. No one talked about it. It just kind of fizzled out, and people were like, what happened to The Last Guardian? Oh, I'm sorry, what? The Last Guardian? I don't know. What are you talking about? And then that was it. And all of a sudden, it just kind of appears out of nowhere for E3 this year. I didn't follow up on it after that point. Was there anything announced about it after this show? After the panel, like what brought it back, the whole 9 yards, like fucking anything?
It's been in development hell for a while, basically. It's been a constant stops and starts and set to release and then not release and then being in kind of production project and then falling out of production, and it's been like all over the place. It's been a real like roller coaster for the people who really want to play it.
Yep.
But it's really good to see it released because few games have its pedigree when it comes to like people who have made super interesting, emotional investment games. I'm struggling to think of anything outside of the Soul series that has this level of actual like emotionally buying into it from fans.
Yeah. It could maybe it's just because of it was the quality of the footage looked kind of old, like it was from 2007. I don't know, I could be way out there and say this, but it had a real like Zelda kind of vibe to it as far as the environment and the overall tone that from what I got from my first impression. I don't know. That's just the way I kind of viewed it at first, but there's a specific way I want to explain this, and I'm really struggling to find the right words to convey what I thought about it.
I got a vibe that it's either going to be an awesome work of art and experience, or it's just going to be frustrating and terrible. That's what I got from watching the gameplay demo, because the little boy was like, "Hello! Ah!" And then the little dog thing would be like, and then you have to figure out the puzzle, and then you do that. I don't know. I feel like that could get really old really fast if I'm like, you fucking dog bird, come on! Get over here!
I hope there's never a subtitle in the fucking game. I hope there's never a hint.
That would make it
as to
interesting.
what it's supposed to be.
It would make it interesting for anyone other than people like myself. I would lose my fucking shit inside of 5 minutes. I'd be like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Fuck it. punched
That's what makes these games good.
I know.
I go. Like, there's basically going to be like a 3 games kind of interconnected thematically. Well, not thematically, but like from the same mind, I guess. Which is Ico, which when you play it, you feel like a hero, but not in the usual sense. It's a complex interpretation of what makes a hero a hero. So Ico exists and is a game. And then you've got Shadow of the Colossus, which makes you feel like a villain. But you're a hero, but you feel like a villain when you're playing the game. You like over time you feel like you're a bad person for doing what you're doing, even though the reason that you're doing it is just. So you've got the hero who's a hero and a hero who's a villain. And I really want to know what they're going to explore in this one. Like, I want to know how I'm going to feel when I'm playing the game. And there's not many games that I get excited like that. Like, I'm excited to play the game. I'm excited to enjoy the mechanics. But how it's going to make me feel never enters into it. But with The Last Guardian, I can't wait to see how I actually feel when I'm playing the game.
Yeah. I feel like that's one of the biggest selling points.
Yep.
Hype points.
I really hope that the doggy eagle thing doesn't die. Because
Oh, man.
even if I don't play it, I wouldn't.
Rage.
He's going to die a billion fucking times.
No, the little boy is gonna die.
You tweeted that.
La 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 la.
No, that's going to be one of the mechanics, is if you fuck up, the dog is going to fucking die. It's written all over the game.
Just watch that thing die 1,000 times. No.
I'm not even
My
messing it.
So
I will take a fucking photo of each tear that rolls down my fucking face and post it on Twitter. Because I'm going to cry like a bitch. It's a big dog who's probably going to die. Like, I don't give a fuck who dies. Just don't be a dog, because that'll make me sad, because dogs are awesome.
I got upset killing the white fluffy wolves in The Witcher 3. I was like,
Fuck
oh.
those guys. When you get to Skellige, they run around in packs of about 18
I know,
billion.
but they're so cute. And I was like, oh, I have to kill you. I'm sorry.
Sorry, mate.
I like, Axie, no. They won't follow me and be my friend. It makes me sad.
I wouldn't be able to do it.
Just hard sign him down and run away.
Get away, bitch!
I did that in a town. There was like 14 or 15 chickens running around the place, and I accidentally hit my hard sign, and it's just like dead chickens everywhere. I was like, oops.
Dinner!
This entire village is gonna fucking starve because I killed all their chickens.
I like when I'm walking around a town and I accidentally, like, to one of the guards, and they're like, and it's like, you have angered the guards. They may attack you. And I'm like, well, bring it on, bitch.
Whatever.
Look at all
I'm
the fucks I
Geralt
get.
of fucking Rivia.
Yeah. Well, I want to quickly mention that we did see robot dinos in E3.
We did.
That was Horizon Zero Dawn, I think was the name of that game. And by think, I mean, I know because I wrote it down and it's right here on the document. But that looked interesting. I thought that was an interesting idea.
Looked fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Robot dinosaurs.
How,
That's
like,
two of the
technology
best
took
things
over.
ever.
Where
It's like
we...
the future meets the past, and you
Yeah.
get to fucking shoot arrows at it.
Yeah. I thought it was an interesting twist because when I saw it at first, it looked like they were going to be just cave people and it was going to be set in the past. And then they were like, no, there was an apocalypse and machines took over, and that was cool. So it's like the Matrix plus cavemen equals robot dinosaurs, and I'm down with that. Let's
This
roll.
story really intrigues me because, well, the game itself really intrigues me, and the whole storyline behind it. One of my favorite book series I love to read is The Sword of Shannara. Oh, fuck.
Is that the one you gave me?
No, I gave you The Ranger's Apprentice. That's also a very, very good book. But The Sword of Shannara takes place in the far future. It's like, not really post-apocalyptic, but essentially what the author is trying to say is that, you know, like 2,000 years prior, there was basically a nuclear war broke out between the civilized world as we know it today. And it altered men that were in different areas of the world and created a bunch of different races. And now everyone's kind of gone
Just
back
men?
to
Was
like...
there a superhuman woman's race?
Sorry. Yes.
No,
Sorry.
I was just curious.
No, I generalized, okay?
I got you. No, I
Sorry.
understand. No need to apologize.
Diversity, mate.
No, it's just, it was a legitimate, I know it sounded like I was being sassy, but it was sort of a legitimate question. Continue.
Men and women equals people.
Mankind. And, humankind.
It's really good. So, like, everything kind of gets reset back to, I don't know, like the Middle Ages. You know, everything's done by horseback. Everyone's fought with sword and bow and arrow, but there's also a little bit of magic thrown into it. But there's still remnants of the, you know, like modern civilizations that were altered a little bit from the nuclear fallout and stuff, and obviously that's where the fiction takes place. And there's other aspects of it. So, like, this game looks like it could have been derived from that book series almost, because there's even a creature that they fight at one point. It's like this mutated spider that has pulled pieces of, like, iron and shit from an old building left over from, you know, like a skyscraper to, like, mechanize itself in order to survive, and the thing's, like, cunningly intelligent. So when I saw this, like, that was the first thing that came to mind, and that's one of my favorite scenes from that whole series. It's phenomenal. So this game is going to be tops on my list when it does come out. Hopefully they execute properly. I forget, who's the developer behind this? Is it a Sony-backed game, or is it a sub-developer? Or like a third party?
Well, Horizon Zero Dawn, it's Guerrilla, the guys who made Killzone.
Okay. Dude, I really have... this one was one of the ones that actually intrigued me the most from everything I saw from E3. What little I did get to see. I'm very, very excited for this because, like, you know, like I said, where it relates to other interests I've had over the years.
And it was one of the games that actually gave me a reason to want to get a PS4, which has been sorely lacking. Like, I haven't had a reason outside of Bloodborne to want to get one. And this E3 actually gave me a few games that I find interesting enough to part with the cash, like to make me feel like investing money in a console will be worth it. So, fair play to them.
Question. How many games do you need to see, like, for console exclusives, do you need to justify the purchase of a PS4?
One.
Just one?
Yeah.
That's a heavy investment.
But I'm not a selfish dick. Like, I wasn't going to buy Bloodborne. Like, I wasn't going to buy a PS4 just to play Bloodborne. But I would, if I had a PS4, end up putting 600 hours into Bloodborne, just going off the time I've put into other games of that series.
In that case, that's a pretty fucking good investment.
Yeah, and it'd be worth it to me for that. But it's almost impossible to, like, justify it as a purchase in
being a grown up.
Like, logically, yeah, like being an adult,
right?
And having to, like, you know, pay adult bills. Like, I'm going to take like $450 for one fucking game. It's real tough to do that. But at least with more games out, like, we're a gamer house. Our majority expenditure will always be thinking about games, new monitors, new fucking GPUs, new CPUs, you know, whatever we want to get for PCs. That's our thing. But it still is so hard to justify, like, the guts of $500 to play one fucking game.
Right. For myself, because I could probably swing it with the wife to get one to be used, like, up in the living room, but I wouldn't get it for multiplayer gaming. I would get it for some story mode games, like The Last of Us comes to mind. I would still love to play that game, but that's only one game, and I'm not willing to make a $400 investment for one fucking... Well, at this point, I could probably get it for $30. $400 to play one $30 game? No. 3 or 4 console exclusive games? Yeah, at that point I could, because now we're probably talking, and my game, like, I don't play as nearly as much as you do, but 3 or 4 games I could probably get a couple hundred hours out of, and at that point, yeah, okay, now the investment has become worth my time. The purchase has become worth my investment, to put it more accurately. Sorry to go off on that tangent. I was just curious because one of those things
that was
an
interesting. I think I have about 6 or 7 games for the PS4. I think I have 4 on disc, and then I have 3 or 4 downloads. And I mean, I don't even know how many hours. I mean, in Destiny alone, because I'm a masochist, I probably have 200 plus hours. But
I thought you would just about hit 300 from the last time you
really?
started playing. I thought the last time you had said something was like 280.
I haven't checked.
And you still didn't finish.
Really? Well, then I'm nearly 300. and I'm kind of itching to go back because I miss my Destiny Fireteam buddies, and they're coming out with some decent new content. The Taken King they announced is their next phase in like big content, DLC kind of thing. And it sounds like it has a story, because what they've mentioned, it's connected to one of the raids, Crota's End, and Crota's daddy is pissed. So, you know, I'm interested. I'm interested in that. But anyway, that wasn't an E3. That was unrelated. No, I'm actually interested. I thought it was really interesting, and I know I kind of mentioned it on Twitter, and it was really controversial. What I had to say, and also this thing, and Scanner kind of shed light on it a little bit. Shenmue 3? Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I've never heard of that game before. But Sony announced that this game, the developers had a Kickstarter for $2 million at E3. And then they reached the 2 million in 13 hours, 9 to 13 hours. And I thought that was interesting because why? Like, I thought, one, if Sony is doing that because they have a relationship with this developer and they just wanted to give them a shout out and kind of get the word out, okay, that's pretty cool. But then I thought, you know, the cynical jest was kind of like, well, what if they're kind of test driving this kind of, basically testing the market, kind of a marketing strategy of getting people to shell their money out to back the game and not having to do it themselves. Granted, 2 million's not going to obviously back the entire game, but why is this giant developer who obviously has the money telling other people about a Kickstarter? It's kind of like, to me, I feel like it's kind of a gray area, and okay, it's great if developers themselves want to kind of branch out and be independent, start a Kickstarter, get the money that they need to make this game, and people kind of get, like, Ukulele, the game that is from the makers of Banjo-Kazooie. It's kind of the spiritual sequel. They launched it. I backed it. And I'm getting a copy, and I only gave them like $15, I think, $30. So that was worth it for me. And I just thought maybe, I lost my train of thought of where I was going with that. But shit. Scanner made an interesting point that Sony legally couldn't back this brand because it was owned by someone else, Sega, I think.
It's owned by Sega. The Kickstarter was actually Sega's idea. See, this all came out in the wash after everybody lost their fucking minds. That day, I distinctly remember my Twitter feed being filled with people who, despite being completely quote-unquote unbiased, went off like all fucking guns blazing on Sony being scumbags and typical Sony, and, you know, really like being unbiased. So Sega owned the IP, and they wanted a gauge of interest before they were willing to put any money into it. And it's that simple. Like, people have this really stupid fucking concept when it comes to Kickstarters. Kickstarters will rarely, if ever, generate enough money to get a game completely done. And this is going to happen more and more now, because what used to be AA titles are going to start going to Kickstarter to generate part of their funding. But it's going to become this important tool for people to show interest in the game. Like, you know, there is a potential market for the game. We can raise, you know, $1 million, $2 million, you know, fucking $4 million, whatever, via crowdfunding, and then another investor is going to be sat there watching those numbers. And if they hit the number they're supposed to hit, that investor will go, okay, here's the $50 million you actually need to make the game, because the original Shenmue was 50 million budget. Shenmue 2 was
70.
100 million.
70.
So, you know, they were never going to make that fucking game for 2 million, and anyone who thought they were is stupid. Like, 2 million is nothing. It's just to gauge interest, and then Sega sit there and go, okay, the interest is there. We'll greenlight it because they won't be able to, like, like, they can't turn around and say to Sony, well, look, you put in all the money, and us as IP owners will still take the majority of the fucking revenue. It's not going to work. So they had to reach some kind of compromise that everybody was going to be happy with, that the devs could work with, that Sony could work with, and that Sega wanted as well. And that's it. It's kind of a hangover as well. Like Shenmue. Jesus fucking Christ, Shenmue. Like, I guarantee you that there's another rights holder somewhere in the picture as well, because back when Shenmue wasn't actually a game that you could buy, no game was owned by one party. Ever. That wasn't the way it worked. Like, the majority of game ownership was actually done by the people who control the hardware. That's why Sega are involved now. That's why Nintendo are Nintendo. Because they own the rights to shit. What dev team worked on Mario? Who fucking knows? Like, nobody knows. Nintendo. Nintendo made it. Okay. It's like, it was a different time, man. Rights ownership back then was draconian. Like, it still is, kind of, but at least the right people normally end up owning some of it. But not back then.
I'm trying to figure out who actually owns the rights to it, because that was one of the things that had come up, and I forget which subreddit it was, but it's one of the gaming-related ones. And they were talking about Shenmue and the Kickstarter, and one of the points they brought up was what you had just mentioned, Scanner, the rights holder of this. It's not Sony, it was some other company, and people were...
It's Sega.
Okay, people were hypothesizing that, I mean, the $2 million alone could be enough. It's probably not going to be $2 million, but they're like, the $2 million itself is probably only going to cover buying the rights from Sega for the game so that Sony can back it and produce it. But I do remember that, yeah, it was not Sony that owned it, so... It is interesting to see how it all panned out. I mean, the thing's already been hugely successful. So the whole, you know, Sony backing this Kickstarter for Shenmue is kind of like them kicking the tires in the old beater. Be like, well, what's it got? Apparently it's got a fucking lot of life left in it. Because that thing blew up and it's still going. And actually, shit, I can't remember the name of the author. There's a guy that writes for Forbes for their gaming area, part of their site. It's kind of weird. He's a decent writer, but he actually mentioned, he's like, stop funding this game now. And he's right, because they really only need to cross 2 million. Sony's like, okay, we're on board. Anything beyond this is just, I mean, less money out of Sony's pocket, but I think they're going to back it to whatever the budget they had probably previously agreed on to make this happen.
I'm not sure if, like, I actually want to cry.
Don't cry. They're there, friend.
I really do. It's like a child's understanding of business.
Mine?
No, like whoever wrote that thing. Like, do they not think, like, people are going to buy the game anyway? Like, this is what people don't understand. Like, it makes no difference to Sony. It makes no difference to Sega. Whether they get 5 million now or 5 million on launch day. It doesn't affect the split, the costs, the price, nothing changes. It's just a fucking date. It's like pre-orders.
That's where I found it kind of interesting, and I don't know if I got that across when I was tweeting it, is that if you're backing it, are you pre-ordering it? Like, we have pre-orders.
Yeah,
so the game's
you do.
sort of in development. It's being developed. It's already confirmed and going through everything. But now, that's where I thought it kind of got a little, if people are going to start. It's being published by a big developer, but it's also on Kickstarter.
Right.
So if you're
Pledge-
kickstarting it and it's being funded by a big developer, are you just like pre-ordering it? You're giving them your money before anything?
Yes.
That's what I thought was kind of weird, and I think maybe is a little wary in the future if we start going down this path. Something to
But that's what a
watch
pre-order
out
is
for.
anyway.
But it's not even... You're pre-ordering it before you can pre-order it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I think you get you're getting a better deal on it in the end. So the first pledge is $5 or more. You just get a thanks, we did this. Second one is $29 or more. It gets you the digital copy of Shenmue 3 for PC or PS4. And then pledge 60 or more, you get a physical copy for PC. And then from there on and there up, you just keep getting, various combinations, or a variety of combinations of PC or
but
PS4,
what would the retail
digital,
price be?
physical. I'm assuming the retail price is going to be 60 when it comes out. So, yeah.
There's no way it'll be 60.
You don't think so?
No.
What do you think it would be?
No chance.
30 or 40?
If it's 30 and you paid 30, you're still
I feel like it's going to be more. I think it's going to be a $40 or $50 game. Yeah, maybe not 60, but I think it's going to be more than 29. That'll be interesting to see how it goes, because I could see a lot of these backers. So for the $29 or more, which is the lowest tier of a pledge you can do in order to attain a copy of the game, 26,000 people have backed that. And then the $60 or more, which gets you a physical copy, is a little over 4,000. And then the next one up from there is Shenmue 3 trial version, 4,300 backers. It just keeps going up and up. I'd be curious to see for like the minimum guys, the $29, like, if you're kind of pre-buying into this, it's like a Kickstarter for a pre-order that's kind of like early access pricing too. If it comes out and the game's only like $30, I can see a lot of those people being kind of upset by that. To an extent. Maybe not all of them, but, certainly, like with anything, there'd be at least a small group of people that are like, well, what the fuck, man? I jumped in on this early. Why didn't I get a better deal?
Because they're stupid.
Truth.
Well, I don't think that's fair for them to be upset about, but I'm just saying...
I'm not saying it's
something to think about.
Should be fair.
Yes. Is it like a pre-order that you're doing really early? Oh.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much all it is. It's not like.
And is that a good thing? Do you want?
You can't treat Shenmue like other Kickstarters. It's not the same. Like, you can't talk about Shenmue as a Kickstarter game because it's not really a Kickstarter game.
Right.
It's the first and most overt usage of Kickstarter by large companies to gauge interest. That's not what Kickstarter has been about. Whether it's been about that behind the scenes or not is a different story. But we've never had such an overt and obvious usage of Kickstarter as a platform to do this before. So we can't talk about it as we would a normal Kickstarter, which would normally be the massive risk involved in kickstarting a game, which then just disappears. And you lost your money. Well done. You tried to invest in something, you got fucked in the butt. Welcome to trying to invest in stuff. With this is very different. If the game is publicly backed by Sony and Sega and disappears, the lump of shit that will hit the fan is fucking huge. So the game is pretty much guaranteed to exist. You don't have that risk that you have with other Kickstarters. Because Sony can never afford to have this one just disappear. Ever. They've attached themselves to it. They've endorsed the Kickstarter. They've said we're helping fund the game. So they can't bring in like $3.5 million and pocket it and then go, oops, sorry. Development slowed and cancelled and c'est la vie. They can't do it. It's the first time we've ever had a Kickstarter with a public guarantee that yes, a game will actually exist. Because whether they want to acknowledge it or not, that's what Sony and Sega have now done, simply by their involvement. So it's interesting.
Yeah, I find the whole thing interesting, and I think it would be interesting to watch what other people might do using
like I'm
Kickstarter
not
as a
happy
marketing.
about it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy the
I
game's
don't-
getting made. I'm happy for people that are excited about it. But I just think it's
like,
a really
I don't
controversial
want to
thing.
see Kickstarter turn into this thing where that's
Yeah.
okay to do now.
Like a market tool.
I don't.
Yeah, exactly. It's
I don't
in a
think
way
it's
it
gonna
has its
happen.
advantages because people who would normally never use Kickstarter have probably signed up for Kickstarter and have backed Shenmue and have probably backed other stuff that they otherwise never would have backed.
Right.
But
There's
it's still
another
a
perspective.
misuse. It's a misuse of the platform in my mind. I think Sony are wrong for doing it, and I think they're wrong for acquiescing to Sega's desire to want to do it.
Agree. But the next topic, because now we moved on to we're done with Sony, Square Enix conference, and you know what that means? Squeenies, Deus Ex, Mankind Divided.
Are we finally fucking talking about this?
No, well, we're talking about Mankind Divided. Bye, Snow. Bye, Snow. It's the Scanner and Epona show.
Finally, we've gotten rid of him.
I watched the 25-minute gameplay demo. Oh my god, it looks great. Okay, it's a new engine, the Dawn engine. It's a couple years after the ending of the last one. Just to sum up the story that we've learned so far, augmented people are kind of outcasts. They live in ghettos. They're separate. I think I saw Scanner had an issue. Was that you? You had an issue with calling it a mechanical apartheid?
Yeah, I did have an issue with it.
But we'll get to that. Adam Jensen is the main guy again. He works for a task force for Interpol. But he's a double agent because he thinks Interpol are like part of the Illuminati or something. Very Deus Ex, like crazy plot. But they added a lot to the combat system, which I thought was awesome because, I mean, I always play as a stealthy hacker, but I do know there are people. I actually thought of Snoov when they mentioned this because I know you tried to play Human Revolution and you were like, why can't I
Let
just
me
run
run
in
through.
shooty bang bang and
Fucking,
yeah. So and and I thought of you because they said they switched up the combat and they kind of made it more so that it was a more viable option and it was more fun to do. So they added stuff like there's a gun as part of your arm. You can projectile shoot out your arm blades and like stick people to walls. It was pretty awesome. Yeah, I liked it a lot. It looked really fun. It tempted me into maybe playing as a combat guy instead of a sneaky computer nerd. But it said early 2016, and they said your choices will affect the story. Hopefully they'll affect the story more than in the last one because that's one of my favorite things. That's the reason that I have not finished The Witcher 3 yet, because I'm scared of what my ending's going to be because of my choices. But, yeah, I think it looks freaking amazing. And I followed the development of Human Revolution a lot, and that development team, they're awesome. I got excited seeing them on stage because I kind of felt like I kind of knew them. Mary DeMarle. I don't know how to say her name. I'm so sorry, Mary. And David Anfasi. I was like, I know them! I know them! I was like Will Ferrell in whatever movie he said that. Yeah, I'm so... Guys, you need to be excited about this game. And if you haven't played Human Revolution, go pick up the director's cut because I said so. But it's going to be fantastic. And I think it's going to be going to delve even more into the Deus Ex themes of, mechanical apartheid. Which Scanner wasn't a fan of.
Which is such a weird phrase to me.
It is a weird phrase.
It's so awkward in my brain.
I
Like,
feel like
it
it's a
doesn't
really
fit.
complicated term.
It doesn't fit in my head whatsoever. I did have a weird reaction to seeing it, like mechanical apartheid, and I was like, really? Like, it's a loaded fucking term because. Yeah, etymology is fluid and we create new words all the time and yaddy fucking yaddy. But apartheid is so specific in its origin and what it means. Like, it's not a general word. Like, let's say segregation. Loaded term. But with outside meanings. To segregate is literally to divide. Apartheid as a word specifically implies the method of social law and rule within South Africa over a certain period of time. Like, it's not a specific general word. It's very specific. And it just, I don't know, it struck me as weird and awkward and clunky, especially to see it in the marketing blurb. Like, it was like a tweet thing all of a sudden from fucking Square Enix and the Deus Ex account.
Yeah.
And it all just sat really awkwardly upon me as a person. I was like, I don't know. Like, I worry a lot about games and what they're trying to do because they spend a lot of time trying to talk about big things that at times they can be completely incapable of talking about simply because of the limitations of the medium.
I think Deus Ex is completely capable of handling this issue, but...
Yeah, and I was worried about how it's actually going to feel in the game, either one way or the other. Like, does it go, like, very, very wrong? And it feels like this really fucking awkward thing when a simple word change might have made it a little bit better. I don't know. But that was my first reaction. See, people also need to understand as well that when I was growing up in Ireland, where I'm from, we pick, like, our side is the underdog. Like, our side is the side who has been wronged. Like, that's what we are, like, that's our mentality. Like, you know, people who had their lives destroyed by apartheid, when we were kids, like, we were taught that our hearts are with these people. Because they are currently experiencing what we experienced, like, within our own history. So my reaction is not going to be the same. As let's say another European reaction, and obviously my reaction is not going to be the same as a black South African reaction. It's going to be very different. But like, it sat awkwardly in my head as a term. I was like, really? Like, nobody thought that was a bit specific?
Yeah.
To co-opt into a computer game? Okay.
I feel like they had good intentions, and a lot of people aren't as educated as myself, if I may say so, and yourself, in recognizing that that's kind of a very specific and sensitive, maybe, term. But I understand what they're saying. I understand what they're trying to get across. But I agree that maybe it wasn't the best choice. But for the maybe recognition or the shock factor, they're getting what they wanted. I don't know.
Yeah, like, I don't want to say anything about it one way or the other either. Like, I want to wait and see how it's handled in game. Yeah. Like, I'm not saying they should or shouldn't have done it. I'm just expressing the awkwardness I had, you know, cognitively around it as a term.
Just hearing it, yeah.
Because someone's going to jump on that and be like, oh, you're making them change it. It's like, I'm not. I'm not.
Yeah, it does sound very analogous. They said that they're separated. They're living in these horrible ghettos, and they're kind of quarantined from society. Everyone treats them like shit. I mean, it's obviously, I am very minimally versed in the history of South Africa and their issues with apartheid, but yeah, this is interesting. It's going to be an interesting game all around, I think, gameplay wise and story wise, thematically wise, everything. So I'm pumped.
I'm pumped.
Scanner said he was excited, by the way, under my shouting, which is always a good sign when Scanner's excited about something. I just want to throw that out there. Deus Ex! Ooh, man! I hope all you guys picked up the Director's Cut when it was on sale for like $3. You little shits. That's a good game. Have you played the Director's Cut? Of Human Revolution? Scanner?
Yeah.
I really like
I've got it
what they
and the
redid.
normal one on Steam because I'm stupid.
And I have the DLC. Because I bought the normal one, and then I bought the DLC, and then they came out with the Director's Cut, and I was like, well, I gotta have that! Bye! And then
I can't help it. When a game is good, I buy it. Like, they'll bring out the Dishonored, like the refurbished Dishonored, I'm going to call it.
Oh, you're going to get that one too?
Come out, I'll buy it.
Nice. I mean, it's
And then I'll buy Dishonored 2, and then I'll be super happy.
I did that with The Witcher 3, because I bought... Actually, no, my friend... It might have been Eric, actually. Gifted that to me, like, way back. Pre-ordered it for me. Gifted it to me. And then I was like, I want to give these people my money. So I picked up the Season Pass because... YOLO. I like CD Projekt Red, and I have not been disappointed thus far, so... I'm excited. No.
I'm looking forward to the... Like, I just finished up the game this week, because I knew Batman was coming, and I was under pressure. But, like, I'm still going to do, like, all the other Witcher contracts and all the side quests that I haven't done and all that stuff. And then by the time I'm done with them, the DLCs will be dropping, and I'll be like, ah.
They're coming in, what, November? October, I think?
It's going to be so good.
I want to hopefully be buying a house by then. Anyway.
Nice.
That's off topic. But, there was another conference that I didn't realize. Snoop actually pointed it out to me, and I was like, what? The PC gaming one. And I didn't catch it, but it was the first of its kind. So obviously there's going to be some hiccups. But I know Scanner watched it, and he thought it was atrocious. Were there any redeeming qualities of the PC conference? Or was it kind of marketing, or day 9, you said?
Yeah, day 9, he's like a StarCraft guy who, like, he's slowly, like, kind of branching out, and he's becoming, like, a go-to, like, personality for PC games, which is good, because he's smart, and he's you know, loquacious, and
he's word.
I know. He's a good guy to have talking, basically. And he's comfortable with people as well. So I love the format that they had it in. You know, it was him, and there was a couch, and they'd bring people out, and they'd sit them down, and they'd have them talking about their projects. And they treated the devs like actual people, instead of just like, here's your 30 seconds to market. Like, get on it, be a fucking slogan. And it was good in that sense, but it went on for way too long. Like, way too long, which I guess is part and parcel of the format, but they could have been a lot more vicious with who they had up there speaking and about what. Like, that's what I would have done. I would have gone for a shorter format, you know, for that main show, and then I'd have had an after thing. Like, I'd have had an hour and a half of this is it, big event, whatever, and then I'd have, like, the smaller guys after the fact. Still live streaming, but no longer this official PC Gamer show type thing. Now it's like the after stream. But that would have been just me, because it felt in places it just kind of dragged and whatever. But there was like some interesting like news that came out of it, like, you know, the Gears of War kind of remaster is going to be on PC, and that gave me about 2-3 days of laughing at people losing their minds on Twitter about it. Like, wow, PC gets everything. Why are they getting Gears of War? It's like they're getting angry about that a little late, because the original Gears of War released on PC as well, you fucking imbeciles. But
Scanner, don't bring reason and truth into this, man. People don't like that.
Then, you know, they had like some interesting announcements and stuff, but it all felt a little
forced.
I want to use the term hokey.
That's a good term.
Because it didn't have that big budget, multi-million-dollar branding of a Sony and a Microsoft. You know, that oomph, like that fucking... The difference between brewing your own cola and Pepsi showing up at your house, you know, beating your ass with an inflatable hammer. It's like, yeah, Pepsi's here, fuck! As opposed to, oh great, Mom made cola. You know, it was just that...
It had that feeling of like, whoever decided to do it, they're like... It was like some guy on the fucking crowd, and he just found this back room that happened to be empty. He's like, guys, let's do a PC show. Everyone come on in. Come on, we'll do this right now. You guys want to be on the show? You can be on the show. I don't give a fuck. And that's kind of the feeling I got from it. Was not held by any means by the crowd they had there. I realized that the E3's primarily for the industry. It's not for fans like, you know, PAX Prime or PAX East or any of those other, like, you know, consumer type shows are for. It's primarily for journalists and, you know, like I said, people in the industry. And I don't know if these guys that were there were like, they need to invite just like normal fucking people next time to interject some goddamn enthusiasm and life into that stage, because that was, I think, what hurt the most. I like Day 9. He's a great StarCraft caster. The guy's fucking incredibly smart when it comes to playing StarCraft. I always thought he was one of the best, you know, professional content creators or producers out there, and I was stoked to hear that he was going to be, you know, heading this. And they left that guy out. Just they hung him out to dry. I feel like I fucked that up. Anyway. There just wasn't any enthusiasm from that crowd whatsoever. Everyone was just dead. And it's not like the show was that horrendously bad. Like, there wasn't anything to get really that excited for. Yeah, there was some down points to it, but you'd think...
There was Rising or Red Orchestra fucking Vietnam. Or Rising Storm Vietnam. I can't remember what fucking brand they're going with on it. But basically a Vietnam shooter.
Yeah.
On PC. So no fuckery. Like, just a PC shooter in Vietnam. Yes. I'm excited for that.
So excited, bro.
I think next year, if they could expand upon it a little bit, the other thing that kind of really was annoying about it was they rushed through it. Like, I'm watching this, and I think it went for 3 hours total, if I remember correctly, and it got an hour late start. And I got going, and I'm sitting there, and it's getting close to 11, and I realized, yeah, no, it was going for 3 hours. I'm like, fuck, I've been in this for 2 hours, and I feel like not a lot has gone on. Like, there's been some high points, but Jesus, I mean, they're just rifling through people. If they could condense it, stick with, you know, more quality topics to discuss, I guess is the best way to explain it. More quality announcements.
Day 9.
Yeah, definitely keep him. I think he did a good job. But they got to interject, they got to bring in just regular people off the street that are there, that want to be there, that are excited to hear about news and aren't just there, you know, waiting for the next piece that they can write about for their job. Got to get some people in there to be fucking stoked and excited and feed into that atmosphere. Create a much more hyped atmosphere. Not a fake one by any means. I mean, if it's shit and no one's hyped for it, then fuck it. It is what it is. And everyone's going to see that. You know, any of us viewers that are just watching it from home will know, okay, well, that's shit, so I can understand why everyone's being bored. But you know, you got a room full of guys that have been there all fucking day and all week. It's already running an hour late, so they've probably been sitting in their chairs like, well, fuck, I'm not going to move now because I don't want to lose my seat. And there's just no energy in there. Man, that got tiring, and I ended up shutting it off. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. This crowd's killing me.
Well, I missed the whole thing, so thumbs up to me.
Sleeping around, what, 8 granny pants there?
Probably. I was yesterday. Yeah. On the longest day of the year, I was like, peace, son! Literal sun. S-U-N, not S-O-N. My
this sunlight, like, better get some sleep.
Saw the gorgeous cloudless sky outside, and I was like, good night. 0 fucks given. Come on, camera, what are you doing?
I saw your tweet, and that's when I was laid up on the couch with the heating pad on my ass, because everything still hurts a lot.
Can we just say Stu's on ass drugs right now, by the way?
You could have just told your wife that you didn't want to experiment.
Oh,
like,
man.
Where's the fun in that, Scanner?
That's it. That's all you gotta say. Like, there's a safety word protocol.
Scanner, if I say no now, then there's gonna be nothing to look forward to in like 10 years, okay? See, I'm playing the long con. I'm just setting the stage for things to get even freakier down the line.
And not like
Jester,
a bit of
give me that
rectal
look.
stitching to spice up the old marriage. Damn, Gina.
It went in a direction I did not... Don't know
You
why
and
I
me
didn't see
both.
it coming.
No one? Nothing? Come on. Lay up. Anyway. I think that's it.
Yeah. I have to
roundly
evacuate my bladder very badly.
Nice. Scanner didn't have any host topics, and I had one, but that's a whole fucking can of worms that could probably go on for an hour. And honestly, these muscle relaxers are starting to take effect. I'm starting to get sleepy. I probably won't make it.
Butt drugs.
Butt drugs. So, that's it. Alright, thank you guys for watching. We greatly appreciate it. A couple of things before everyone takes off. One, if you're new here and you're not following the stream, please follow it. Greatly appreciate it.
Just do it!
Patreon page. If you've got that extra money, go ahead and throw it
Get
our
that
way
reference.
because I like to keep lining my
Shia
pockets.
LaBeouf.
Makes me feel good. Scanner still needs his golden arm too because I want to see him punch someone in the face with that at PAX. And the Dawnbreaker forums, we still have they're there to be used, utilized by everyone for everything. Go ahead.
I will say that Annoyed Droid, if you are not available, has offered to host the community game night this Friday.
Yes, thank
Thursday
you
or
for
Friday?
mentioning that. So
Daisy.
this coming Friday night will be a Daisy community night. I can't commit to it because, you know, life, kids, family, the whole nine
but
yards.
he's got it.
Right. If I cannot host the community game night this Friday, then Annoyed Droid, great dude, he said he's going to host it for us.
And he says he can do a European friendly time slot. So
yes.
we will definitely get that for you guys because I know we have many people across the globe who are our friends and want to play with us. I probably won't be there, but also, just throwing it out there, we will be doing a giveaway in the next week or so. Probably The Witcher 3 on any platform, whatever platform you play on. So keep an eye out on Twitter, keep an eye out here on the stream. We will let you know what's going down with that very soon.
Yep. So the giveaway, pay attention to the Dawnbreaker Gaming Twitter or Epona's Twitter. Or mine, I'll retweet it anytime she sees it. If she's doing something, you know, big announcement like that, she always puts it to my attention if I miss it. So I'll retweet it. You will see it. Same thing for the community game night. Keep an eye out on my Twitter, @Snoo603, and I will have a definitive answer by Wednesday as to who is hosting it. But regardless, there is a community game night this Friday. We'll get it set up on Day Z. I have no idea exactly how we're going to go about it. I guess it depends on if I'm hosting it or if Droid's hosting it. I'll get in touch with him between now and Wednesday, so we'll have all the details ironed out. We're going to have to find a server. That's probably going to be the most difficult part, but we'll get it figured out.
No worries.
That's it. Thank you guys for watching. Greatly appreciate it. We will catch you guys Friday for the community game night, and after that, next Monday for another podcast. Have a good night, everyone.